Hi everyone. My name is Susan Bass, and this is the second question to our EdTech final. Basically, two or more apps that I absolutely loved and why I liked them. So here we go. So, one thing that I absolutely adored, probably the most out of anything, and mainly because it was so simple, was Canva. So, Canva is a poster making app. So, you can make personalized posters for your classroom or, even your house, your dorm room, anything you want, really. Um, and it's so cool, guys. Like, that I can make a poster of anything that I want, and I could take it pretty much anywhere as long as the photo isn't copywritten. Don't plagiarize. Um, I could just take it to Kinko's or, any kind of printing place and make my own printer any size that I want. Poster, sorry. And make it any size that I want is amazing to me. And I love the idea of personalized posters anyway. So this was perfect for me. It is my favorite thing that we learned because it was the exact thing that I was looking for out of learning about technology in the classroom. So here's a picture of both of my posters, and I hope you like them. All right, so this is my Canva poster about the Native American influence and part in the War of Independence. You can see I kind of tried to make it like a movie or maybe even like a book cover. You can see that I have the kind of tagline down here at the bottom in the cute little box. I also have the title, which is kind of like Fight for Your Right to Know Your History, which is kind of going off of my whole idea of what history should be, a more honest history. So I also have all the different players in this kind of event, in this lesson. The Native American tribes that we would talk about in our lessons, and then the British Empire and the American colonies. But the one that actually stands out amongst the three of them are the native tribes. And this is my Carrie Nation poster. I actually had to do a lot of kind of editing around with it to get it the way that I wanted it to look. Just like with the last one, there are templates for basically what your poster is going to look like. I had to go in and make it this kind of red color and everything, but in the template it made that kind of, peach kind of color in the middle come out, which I didn't necessarily do myself. But I did put the hatchet in there all by myself. I had to go and find a a picture on Google that had a transparent background to be able to do that. And then, all these templates have text that you can edit to make it your own and everything. And so I included a quote by Carrie Nation, had her name, obviously, the prohibition and temperance movements, which she's closely related to. So yeah, I just had so much fun dealing with the app, and it was just fun to try and come up with a way to visually represent these subjects. So my second favorite app would probably be SparkPage. And I know a lot of people didn't like SparkPage just from talking to people, but I loved it. I adored how much imagery you could get into it, especially because I'm really kind of focused on art history as a passion. And so just being able to add so many pictures in there in different ways was really awesome to me. And I really liked all the different things that you could do, like making a slideshow was the most simple thing that you could do. And in a lot of different apps, you can't even do that. So being able to scroll through text and see images related to that text behind it was amazing. I thought it was really helpful and could help visual learners outside of your own classroom, which should be super difficult. And this app just really makes it very easy. It can go on forever. That's the best thing about it. The absolute best thing about it is that it will just go and go and go and give you room to go and go and go. So if you wanted to use this as a tool to, I don't know, keep a continuous narrative of what you're doing in your classroom, either for any kind of documentation that you're doing. If you have students with IEPs, I'm sure this would be very helpful to help other teachers and as well as parents understand what's going on in your classroom. Keeping a list essentially like this, I think, would be really helpful. But also just as a newsletter kind of thing. You could just keep adding and adding, and parents could go back and see what kids were supposed to do on these days, and could help kids catch up if they were coming in at the middle of the semester and things like that. So it was really, really helpful for me. So here's an example that I did of the Windsor family. And I kind of tried to play around with everything because I wasn't really sure what was going on with it. But I think it's super helpful, and I was even able to put in a video down there at the bottom to explain all of that kind of in summary. So yeah, I hope you like it. Alright, so this is going to be basically just an overview of SparkPage and using my specific example as a way to show you all the different pieces. So that was your cover with your text and everything, more text, and then this was a really cool feature, kind of like a hidey hole kind of thing, like being able to peep through and see whatever you want to talk about behind your information. More text. Being able to add and edit pictures within it was really fun. And this text down here is just a caption of that photo. What I found really interesting was this whole feature that you can have a photo behind the information that you are writing for the students. I already talked about that in length earlier, but it was really, really fun to play around with because I had never even imagined being able to do this before in a presentation tool. One thing I will say that is frustrating is that you can't indent within this app. You have to actually add a new piece of text. So that's kind of frustrating, but it does help to break up the information a little bit more, but I don't know. It was just difficult for me to use it in that way. Another thing to keep in mind is that you really need to be comfortable with the way that you're presenting these Spark pages. Like, I had to present a Spark page for a different class using an Apple computer when I was only used to an iPad. And so that was interesting, trying to make the mouse work and present this smoothly and flawlessly. I struggled because I hadn't practiced with it enough, and honestly, I don't like Apple computers, but I had to use it for that situation. But yeah, if you're using your own computer, you shouldn't have a problem. Or if you can cast from your iPad to the particular projector you're using, that would be best. And more scrolling. Because again, this can go as long as you want it to, really. I chose a lot of very poignant photographs for this, but I mean, it can be of anything. And this was great that I can add a video into it if I wanted to.